Hello everybody, it's about time to report again. I've had now 11 ayahuasca sessions within the first 18 days. The first few days every day and then every other day, which is quite a lot for a beginner like me. Sure enough, my body was suddenly has reached its limit. The next morning after the 11th session, I had a purge, very painful, never before. And for the next 4 days, I suffered from nausea and headache. Hard lesson learned. I took an ayahuasca break for 2 weeks. Now I reduced the sessions to once or twice a week. So my suggestion for the beginner is taking about 5 sessions within the first week, they do it in ayahuasca centers in South America, and then once a week or once a month or so, depending on how you feel like doing it. And keep in mind that not every session is as you would like it to be. Many times my dosage is not enough to go as deep as I would like to. On the other hand, if my dosage is too high, I vomit out the good stuff before it can get fully absorbed. So I'm still working on the right dosage, and there are also many other factors to be considered. I have come up with 3 levels of experience. Usually a session starts with level 1, in which I feel the energies coming up within my body. If the dose is too low, or I purge within 1 hour after taking mimosa, it will not reach the second level, which happens on average 1 out of 5 times. With the right dosage and no early purge, in fact mostly no purge at all, I reach level 2. In this level, I connect with the spiritual world, experiencing visions and get many insights. This level lasts usually for several hours. Now about 1 in every 5 sessions, I will be catapulted to the 3rd level, where I call it a breakthrough. These are the very, very lucky times. You will be thrown into their world and everything is totally overwhelmed. The experiences are like 100 times more intensive. You're completely in a different dimension and there is no time. Time is transformed. You do not even want to come back into this world anymore. This breakthrough level probably takes only minutes. But since time does not exist in this level, it doesn't really matter how long it takes. I only notice once I come back to the 2nd level, still being totally overwhelmed, and continue to cherish the experience for hours. Anyway, while doing your first sessions within the supportive environment of an ayahuasca center is probably the best way to go. It still has one disadvantage though. The noise of the others purging and all kind of emotional outbreaks will be quite disturbing for your trip. So for the future sessions, it is good to do it by your own, with a trusted sitter, if still needed. Aside from cutting out any disturbances, it will help you to stay on the spiritual track. Many people have great breakthrough experiences with ayahuasca, but these are very easy to fade in the distant memory after a few months. Now it's time to talk about the subject of my 14th session, which I'm right now. Ayahuasca healing power. This time I have seen a whole complicated system of glass tubes connecting every organ and part of my body, and then a very colorful elixir of life started to flow through the whole system, filling up each part of the body, and I could even increase its power by focusing on the area where I needed it the most. One part which needed it most at that time was the stomach, since I felt quite nauseating. It turns out that every part of my body has its own spirit or consciousness. So the stomach started to talk to me, explaining what hard job he has to do 24/7 to keep me healthy, especially when I take ayahuasca. There are elements which should be thrown out sometimes. However, I begged him, if possible, to keep it in long enough until all the DMT is absorbed. Further, I started to deeply appreciate what my stomach is doing for me every day. And the stomach smiled at me, recognizing my gratitude. In this way, we have millions and billions of little servants down to every single cell of the body. It's like having an army of workers working for you. But we are mostly not even aware of them. It's like never recognizing the hard job of your employees, never giving them any attention. It wouldn't surprise me if they will slowly lose their motivation without the recognition of their master. So they got my attention of every single part of my body, and they started to glow for happiness. And immediately I was catapulted again into another higher dimension with a message saying that we all work for you very hard, just for you to be able to experience and grow into this higher consciousness. I have stayed in the other dimension just for a moment, but long enough to really have learned my lesson. Next lecture was about connection. A shaman is like a plumber. It's all about making the right plumbing connection, to let the elixir of life flow to the people who are open for it. One needs the right tools to connect. And first of all, he needs to know the person on the receiving end in order to figure out the size and kind of plumbing which is needed to connect. To round up the lesson of today, I would like to point out my guided healing meditation. In my tsilvermagic video series. This meditation will help you to connect and let the elixir of life flow in any part of your body. I highly recommend meditating every day so to stay on the spiritual track and grow. You may want to try also my other guided meditations. Further, I would like to introduce my book called Celebrate Your Life. It's about meditation and how to become free of emotional burdens. You can find it in Widbook, as in WID book.com, under Josef Berger, author. See below. Okay. Thank you again for listening. I hope it will give you some value in your life. Until next time, then bliss.